Welcome back to Modern Mystic Messages. I'm Teresa, and I believe this is going to be the last installment for this evening because I did want to talk about this fast or period of initiation. And the reason I say it is this I know it's an initiation fast. It's been on my mind and heart to do the big fast, the 40-day fast, for a long time, truthfully, since 2018. And I started playing around with intermittent fasting and one meal a day. And I've done the longest fast I've done has been 12 days. On the 13th day, I broke it. But it's come to my attention through my spirit team that I have to do the big fast. Now, in consideration for my health and the fact that we live in a modern society and I don't have the luxury of completely fasting alone, and I don't think it's wise at this point in stage of the game for me to try to do it without doctor supervision. It won't be a pure water fast. I will be taking supplements and some broths, and I got like some green juices and things like that, but it's all, I mean, I don't think there's anything that I'm taking that's more than 30 calories a serving, and I won't be doing that every day. But and I, like I said, I got supplements galore because I want to keep the nutrition high because I need to do this, but I do have to fast. And again, I'm not telling anybody, please do not think that I am telling anybody out there to do what I'm doing. But by the same turn, I'm not telling you not to follow your spiritual guidance to do what you're called to do too, because it's been called to my attention that, well, in this case, like I said, the 40-day fast, it's an initiation under Enki. Now, people don't understand that every each person had different numbers, numerologically, spiritually, what have you. But according to the information there, Enlil's number, Yehovah, was 50. They had a 50 Jubilee year. Yeshua's number is 33. That's the Christic number. And Yahweh and Enki's number is 40. And an initiation under Enki requires a 40-day fast. Now, before we go any further, for any of the friends and family, and I got a few of my blood relatives that are super religious off into whatever they're doing. The last time I mentioned fasting on Instagram, oh, they had to come and tell me and show me scriptures about how you only supposed to fast in secret and you can only fast on the word of God. Not, I appreciate your concern and advice. Not here, not today. I'm being as transparent as I can be because I know that I'm discussing information that is relevant to other seekers that are at this point in their awakening and initiation. So I'm going with the information that I was told to share. Because truthfully, if you fast the way Christianity tells you to, it's going to be very difficult for you to get the level of spiritual awakening that you want to. Or any of the religions, for real, the way they go about it, if you think about it. I ain't trying to knock what anybody's doing, but that Ramadan fast, it helps to a degree, but not really, because all they do they put their bodies under extreme stress by living in a very hot climate and not having any water during the day. But then as soon as the sun goes down, they're eating and partying. So it's really not a fast. You just moved your eating window. It's intermittent fasting. But for the kind of spiritual connection that my guides are calling me to reach for, that's not the thing that they're talking about. They're talking about truly emptying the vessel because, like Yeshua said, this kind can only be removed by prayer and fasting. And whether that is an actual energetic or etheric implant or demon or energy or entity or principality or power or what have you, or whether it's the demons of the mind, the unhealthy attentions and addictions and habits and nutritions and excesses and things that we do, whatever it is, there comes a point in time where in order to break those mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical bonds on our avatar, we have to detach from that physicality enough to reap the benefit of the detachment, and that comes through fasting. In the wild, and anytime an animal gets sick, what do? They go off their feed. Now, in America especially, I mean, fasting is done all around the world, and they see the medicinal benefit. In America, it's become like a diet thing, sport, and there's a lot of fasting groups. I'm not knocking any of them. It's wonderful. But if you fasting just for weight loss, it's different than if you fasting for spiritual advancement. And in this particular case, from what I've been shown, I know that there were some etheric implants done. My Reiki master even saw one. I understood spiritually where it probably came from and what it was for, but it does need to be removed for the level of spiritual connection that I'm being called for at this point in the game. And physically, I know I need to. My body has become so sensitive to the chemicals that we eat in American foods, even though I probably eat healthier than most people that I know of. And I do the intermittent fasting. There's just been such a lifelong accumulation of it. My joints ache. My weight is out of control. I'm winded. I got this and that. On chemically, I mean, on the lab reports say that I'm primarily healthy, but I know good and full well, weighing as much as I do, that I'm not healthy. That's not possible, especially considering the amount of food I eat versus what I weigh. The math doesn't math. Even my children even noticed that years ago. So whatever somebody else can get away with, I've done it as long as I can. I can no longer get away with it. I need to purge my system. And to be honest, when I started the fasting situation or scenario after that first 12-day fast, the main reason I hadn't gone back through it again when 2020, when I started trying to fast again, every time I get past day 4 or 5 or so, the meditations would ramp up so intensely that it felt like I was losing touch with reality, and I was worried about whether or not I was losing my mind. And I would refeed because I was afraid of going that deep into what was beginning to happen in my meditations. I'm not afraid now. I know I got to take the rest of that trip. So yesterday I started that, and it's so interesting to me because the end of my 40 days will be February 17th, the day after my daughter's birthday, and ironically, that is the birthday of my first karmic facilitator, her father. Her birthday is the 16th. His birthday was the 17th. So it's interesting to me that that cycle, that beginning of, like I said, peeling away from the matrix or stepping into whatever this is, this happening, this uncaging or unfolding that's happening, um, is going to be ending like that initiation is ending on the date of his birth. And he was the one that kind of they said that's the long initiation. If you want to look that many years, that was 30 something years ago. And the reason I say karmic facilitators and talk about extraction teams is because truthfully I've been shown that's exactly kind of sort of how it works. Even when we don't realize it, there's a larger trajectory of things, variables that we can take, decisions that we make to set things. And sometimes our spiritual contracts are amended on the fly, if you will. But truthfully, there are people that show up in our lives, and a lot of times people talk about the karmics. I'm not saying karmic in that level. All of our lessons are karmic for the purpose of us learning the lesson so that we can graduate it and get to a dharmic cycle. So some of our high level soulmates, we have uncomfortable relationships with them because we are playing a cosmic or karmic dance with those people, very often prearranged before we even got here, or like I said, renegotiated on the fly. But what we were going to learn, how we react versus respond, how we respond instead of reacting, what they learn out of it. Will they respond and react? Will they ascend from that behavior? Or will the cycle continue? There's all kinds of lessons tied up in every interaction we have with everybody we ever interact with. So I bless my karmic facilitators because, like I said, I understand with the attitude and trajectories and behaviors of a lot of the players around me, my scenario could have been exponentially more uncomfortable than it actually was. And whether it was uncomfortable or whether it wasn't, I got what I needed to get. It took me a while to understand and learn what I needed to learn from it. Multi-layered lessons that I didn't fully understand until I was able to sit back and review them in hindsight over a period of a lot of downtime. But yeah, my extraction team was pretty cool overall. I got most of what I wanted. I'm still here, so truthfully, I've had, like I said, when we look at the scheme of things and people in the world that literally go to bed hungry and things like that, I can see I got everything I needed, some of what I wanted, but better yet, also had a hunger placed in me that caused me to ask questions and go seek. How would you even know you wanted to manifest something if you hadn't been without something? You gotta have a desire before you can create something that fills the desire or call in something that fills the desire, however you want to see it. So I'm truthfully rather excited for this next stage. I don't know how 2025 and 6 and all that are going to unfold, but I do understand where we are in the scheme of things. We're cruising on along somewhere around 11, or Revelation probably 17 or 18 or so now. And truthfully, just like the rest of Revelation, it gets real wordy and it's long going and kind of slow slogging through all of the visions and the this and the that and the symbolism. But by the time they get down to the end of the book, 17 kind of slogs along, 18, but by the time you hit 20, boom, the book is over quick. Those chapters are short. So I firmly believe that we are well into this paradigm shift. And honestly, like I said, if you remember life before 2020 and are honest about it and pay attention and look at life after 2020 or in 2020 and since 2020 from a spiritual eye, you have to know that our generation is going to be the ones that actually see the shift happen. What the Mayans were talking about, all the rest of that, what the Book of Revelation, however, whoever got right, wrong, indifferent, whatever, telling you. And if it doesn't happen in my lifetime, surely it's going to happen in my children's lifetimes. I believe it's going to happen in mine, though, because I'm seeing how fast things are rolling and what's happening with all the crystal children and all the autistic children on the family. I'm telling you, it's going down as we speak, y'all. And I'm trying to help folks that are waking up because the awakening is happening in waves. Just like the star seeds came on the planet in waves, the awakening is happening in waves. So I know I got work to do, and those that I can help awaken and help activate will have work to do, and so on and so on. And I just want to do my part. Any event, that's as far as I think I can go up to this point. I do actually, when I sat down initially to do this reading, do this messages, I pulled a massive reading from different cards decks that I was called to pull, and I'll start going into those and I'll break those readings down too, because there are messages out there for the collected. And if you are a chosen one who is still rocking out and here with me on this, that those messages are for you as well. The first set of cards I pulled, when I saw what they were, I set the intention, asked the question, and went into prayer and pulled the rest of that reading. So I know it's a message for the collective and not just for me. So I definitely will share that as well. I do thank you for hanging out with me this far. Please, if you got some value from it, like, share, comment. Please subscribe or follow. And until next time, family, peace and blessings to you. I love you so much. Namaste.